good morning to all of you. This is section 5 of slot 2, and today we'll be continuing the song that we were doing last class, which was Happy Birthday. Yeah, so we were doing this last class, and we were also we did a few scales in the beginning. This always we have to play the scales in the beginning of the class as warm up, so it's a must practice. So before we continue on with the song, we just play some scales as warm up. So we did C major, F major, and G major. So C major, just play the scale together. F major, G major. And the tonic chords. So we played all of this last class, and in the beginning, or we've done this before, and playing these scales is a must warm up. And now we'll continue on with the piece that we were doing last class, which was Happy Birthday. So I did the first part of the piece, which was it was in G major with the tonic chord, and then it went. So this part, this was done last class. Now the next part that we have, oops. That's how it goes, and that's how it ends. And you play this once again, obviously, you play it twice. So the second section is it's just coming down. So I'll just write all the notes on the board, write the entire piece on the board to make everything okay. Make sure that there's no confusion. Just write. The first section went. So the first time, so when G G A G C B B G A G C B, then G G A G so D and C, so D C, and then we continue. The right hand part is just right hand, just right hand. This is the right hand part, and then we do. You come down, and for that the notes are G G. Then you go G high G, E C B A, then you end it on. So F F E C D C is the ending. So this part is that you play this twice, and then the left hand part, I'll be teaching the new stuff that we'll be learning today will be the broken chords as well. So instead of playing the entire chord, we'll be playing them broken. Just write the bottom. Just write the bottom. So broken. First we have G major, G E D. So we have F sharp, C, D. So then again you have your G major, G E D, and then you have your C major that comes in, G C E. If you remember this, we did this in last class. I'll be doing it again just in case you forget. And then for that part, I have like a the exact same thing almost. G, E, D, F sharp, C, D, and for the ending you have G, C, E, G, E, D, G, C, E twice. And this is how it happens, how it works. Left hand and right hand. So to recap what we did last class, in case you guys forgot, we did the right hand part and we'll show you on the keyboard how it will sound, and then we'll do the broken chords as well in this class. Right hand part would be this right hand part, and if I were to tell you the notes, would be G, G, A, G, C, D, G, G, A, G, D, C, G, G. You go back, you go to the high G, G, E, C, D, A, and then you go to the high F, 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 E, C, D, C. So that's how it would sound. Once again, if I were to play, that's how that would sound. And I've already spoken the notes, and hopefully they're on the board as well, and you can refer to them whenever you want. And now the left hand part for the first section. For that part, left hand, the first chord is G major, G, E, D, G, B, D, and the next chord is F sharp, C, D. So first chord is G major, and then the next chord is F sharp, C, D. So this we've done last class. So from here to here, we go. Then we again to the right hand part, G, G. When you play A, G, you play your tonic chord. Then D, when you play C, you play your next left hand chord. And the chord here is G, C, E, which is a C major chord. And once again, if I were to play it, G, G, C, E, G, G, A, G, D, C. So that's the left hand, and you have to, and now we'll start the broken part, which you'll have to play them in a broken way. So it would sound. That's how it would sound. It's like broken, so it sounds better. And to break them, you just play them individually, but extremely fast. So this is a bit challenging, maybe. Just play them individually. So G, B, D. Play them individually. And then once you play your G, B, D, once you play them individually, you play them broken as well. Then you play them extremely fast. So it's not that they're very slow and you don't go. It's not very slow or extremely fast when it just becomes a chord. It should be right. It should be extremely fast, but it should still be broken. You should still be able to hear the individual notes. So that's one way of practicing. Just play G, B, D, G, F sharp, C, D, G, B, D, G, C, E, and you just play them over and over again. And that's one way of practicing. And when you want to break them, you just play them extremely fast and with very small gaps. So it would go. You should be able to hear the break. You should not be able to hear like a cluttered note sound. Like it should be proper break. So it would sound. So it sounds good. It sounds like smooth. So that's how the first part is. The first part is, and yeah, that's the first section of the right hand which we did last class. Let me just make a correction. And yes, and then once we've done this last class, and this is the first section of the right hand, and the second section, this is a high G, and it goes. If you remember, I mean, I've played it before, and let me show you how to do it once again. G, G, go to your high G, G, E, C, B, A. So go G, E, C, B, A, and you come down to an A, and then you go to your F, 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 E, C, D, C, and you end on the C. So F, F, E, C, D, C. So once again, if I were to play it, let's say my finger, then you come back here, F, F, E, C, D, C. So G, 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 E, C, B, A, F, F, E, C, D, C, and then that's where the song ends. But then you play it twice, and the left hand part of this is also simple. I had a different left hand part the last class, but I've just made a small change. You can follow this one here. Make it sound better. I've added an extra chord in for the left hand part of the last section, and it sounds a bit better this way. I was thinking which one to do, but I finally made a few changes, and only the last one chord has been added. This part has been changed just a bit in this, so it's good to follow this one. But you can always after the last class for how to do the first section, because that's been explained very well in that video as well. So now I'll talk about the left hand of the last section, and that's quite simple as well. The left hand. For the first coming down of the right hand from high G, it's the exact same chords as the first left hand part. So G major, and then again you have your F sharp C D. So you play your two Gs, and then you go to your high G. When you press your high G, you play G major. Obviously here broken chords. That's how it's supposed to be sounding, like a flow. Remember to break the chords, it's quite important. And one more thing, the broken chord for G major here for the second part, you don't play the broken chord when you play G. You play the broken chord before you play your high G. And after the chord finishes, you play your G. And that would sound something like this. So the exact same thing with the B as well. You don't play them at the same time. Rather, you play them once they finish. And this is important. And remember to break the chords, as it's necessary for making this piece sound quite good. Usually we play just full chords, but now to make it a bit better, to sound better, we just break them as well. So G, G, break your chord first, then play your high G. E, C, first break your F sharp C D chord, then play your B and your A. So to make it simple, it would sound like this. When you play it quite fast, it sounds very fluid. And then the last part of the right hand, that's F, F, E, C, D, C. And here I've made a small change there. And here you have to break a few chords and not break one. And I'll show you how to do that right now. F, F, E, C, D, C for the right hand. Now for the left hand, you have G, C, E, and then G, B, D, G major, then again G, C, E. So G, C, E, G, B, D, G, C, E. And it's just the exact same chords that were in the first part of the left hand as well. G, C, E, G, B, D, G, C, E. when you play the right hand part, the GCE, first GCE, must be broken. But then the next GBD and GCE don't really need to be broken, because then it would not sound good. Let me show you an example. If I were to break all the chords of the last part of the left hand, it would sound. But that's a lot of breaking. We don't need that much of broken chords. Rather, what we have to do is, so you saw that the GBD here, I didn't break. I just played like a short GBD. And then I just immediately went to the GCE. Because if we break the GBD, it wouldn't sound too good, because everything's being just broken. So it sounds like it's being stretched apart. So instead of breaking the GBD, we retain the chord nature and we play the chord, but we played very short. Just played like a short chord. So it would sound. And then remember to sort of reduce the breaking on the last GCE. You don't want to break it as much as we did in the first section. So not, you don't want so much breaking, rather you want like some chord nature as well. Try to play like that. Play the G individually and play the two C and E's individually. So it would sound like that. It sounds finished. It sounds like a perfect finished chord. So again, if I were to play the last section, the right hand part would be F, E, C, D, C, but the F is double. So F, F, E, C, D, C. The left hand would be broken G, C, D, broken G, C, E. Then your GBD, short GBD, and then slightly semi-broken G, C, E. Only these two notes retain their chord nature. So play them together, but the G, you play it separately. So it goes G and C E. G, C, E. Not G, C, E, not G, C, E, but G, C, E. So how does that sound? So you sort of play the GBD very short. It's very short and very light. See how it ends? It ends like perfectly smooth. So that's how you do the last section. Overall, remember, there's one more thing that you have to notice, that you just make this a bit darker. One more thing you have to notice is, yes, for the left hand part, remember to, when you play the GBD chord, this G, B, and D, make sure not to play any of them. Actually, any of them, make sure not to play the chords loud, not very loud. You don't want very loud broken chords, because then the melody will get overpowered. So make the melody louder, make the broken chords very light, so that the melody doesn't get overpowered. So the broken chords should be light, and the melody should be loud. So GBD should be a very light melody, should be very light. So it's not very light, it should go very slowly, but not very slowly, as in the volume should be quite low, but should still be heard. And just make sure that the chords don't overpower the actual melody itself. That's an important thing. And if I were to play this piece now with the broken chords, I'm just play. That's how it would sound. And you play it once again if you want. I mean, usually you play it once again, and that's how the entire piece would sound. Now, a few little nuances that I have to know. Just using another pen as well. The G here, the first G. Let me just put a dot on top of it. Let me show you what. Uh, put a dot on these D's and the F as well. So the dot symbolizes that the note must be very short. So it should be a very short note, as we remember the music word is staccato, which means short note. And the first these notes with red dots on top should be short. It should be like short. So that's how it produces that short effect in the actual music. And it would sound like So you got the first note is short. So it's like a short note. So it's like short, the first note. Make sure that you play it short, don't play it long, because then it won't sound good. It sounds way too long to sound good. So make it short and sort of move on with the actual melody. So that sounds good. And even this F F E C D C. So that's how you should do it. Make the first notes short. And one more thing, once you're doing this part, once you're sort of doing this, coming down along the piano, make sure you slow down. Not slow down. Yeah, make sure you slow down in this last part. Just like slow down. Just slow down in the last parts of the music and sort of just slow down and make like a pause, as that would be better. Just like pause before you start this. Don't just go along with the rhythm. Just pause, make like a short pause before you start this. So let me show you how to do that. So this part is okay. Once we do this, slow it down, pause. So just sort of pause when you're coming back down. G, A, pause. And you just slow down and you just pause. So that's how that would sound. And make sure you slow down since it's important. Because if you don't slow down, it sounds like you're like rushing, and the left hand won't be able to keep up as well. So when the left hand, when you're playing that, it would sound. It's like this, and then you go. And then that's how you end the piece. And those are the main nuances that you'll have to know. So slow down here, and end it like soft, make it like soft. Or like musical terms for these, I would rather not use them. Just make it soft, like a soft ending. And yes, left hand should be as well. Left hand should be the entire left hand part should have like a low volume. Should have like a low volume so that doesn't overpower the melody. And those are the main nuances of the piece. And you play the entire thing twice, and those are the main intricacies of the piece and how we exactly play it. Staccato, once again, we play short notes, very short notes, and this is the main thing that we'll be doing. And there's one more thing that I was thinking of introducing you to today. Yes, so let me just write it down with maybe another pen is better. There's one way of practicing your left hand, since the left hand's actually quite weak. It's much weaker than the right hand because most people are righties. So the left hand will be much weaker than the right hand. So there are a few ways of practicing. So ways of practicing your left hand and your right hand. I'll just be showing some of them to you right now so that it's easier. I mean, so that pieces get easier. They don't look as hard. The first way of practicing is what we call playing scales. So you have to play your scales to practice C major, F major, G major. You learn 3 scales and make sure you practice all 3 of these scales with both your hands. Don't just practice the right hand, even your left hand. Even your left hand needs practice. So remember to practice with both hands. C major, F major, and G major. Play your tonic chords before you start as well. C major, F major, G major, and then you play your scales. 1 octave is enough for both hands for now. And another way of practicing is what we call, let me write down, arpeggios or broken chords. It's the exact same thing that we did in the piece, but it's a bit less intense. It's not as fast, and it's a bit slower, and you can take it a bit easy. So broken chords, you practice with both your left hand and your right hand. You take a chord, for example, the tonic of C major, which is C, E, G. and you add an extra C. You add a top note in, so it becomes C, E, G, C, tonic chord. And for now, you can practice it like this way. You have your placement of your fingers all over your four notes. So pinky on C, and middle finger on E, index on G, thumb on C, and you just play. That's simply put, that's how you practice your left hand's movements. So you start off with C, you move to your E, G, C, and then you just continue on to the next octave. You switch over, you cross your middle finger, E, G, C, and then you come back down. G, E, turn, C, G, E, C. So you see, I'm increasing my volume and then I'm decreasing. That also you can do if you're good at this, but main thing is to practice your arpeggios. And these are what you call arpeggios basically. C, E, G, C, E, G, C, G, E, C, G, E, C. And even with the right hand, you have to do these. So you can increase in volume and decrease. Sort of decrease. You can play it fast like that if you're getting good at it. You can play them separately first because obviously your hands need more, your left hand needs more practice. So play it with your left hand and sort of increase your pace as you get along. And then once you do that, your left hand will be much better as well. That's one way of practicing. Let me say the actual name of the thing. It's called arpeggios. So these broken chords are called arpeggios. It's me. And remember to practice playing arpeggios, and they are quite important. So you can practice with both your left hand and your right hand. So that's it for this session. Mainly, this is what we've covered. We've played Happy Birthday. I've given you a certain way of practicing, since many people have told that the left hand is behaving a bit weird. So you can use your arpeggios to sort of tame it, and then you can practice your Happy Birthday as well. Remember your nuances: soft, slow down, low volume, play twice, whatever. You can play how many times you want. So it's a good way to increase your, basically impress people with your songs. Happy Birthday is a very common song. You can just use it, play it at anyone's birthday party. And that's it for the session. Mainly, this is what we've covered. Make sure you practice and your scales, all of your broken chords, your pieces, and you'll be good to go. And by the way, this March we won't be having classes since I'll be out of country. So we'll be resuming from April onwards. And if you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me. Recordings will be uploaded on YouTube, and you can always check the recordings for the piece and the chords and everything that's related to that, what I've played. And make sure you practice your scales. And yes, we'll see you the next class, session 6 for both slots. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.